Okay, COM 101 50P. I'm here to talk to you about your self-introduction speeches. All right, there's a whole bunch of things we need to get understood. Number one, you need to follow all of the directions on every assignment. If you don't do that, I've spent the last 2 days looking for speeches and I can't find them. I can't find paperwork. I can't find things that are supposed to come in to the same spot at the same time. I'm not getting it. I also have sent messages out to people that we haven't received all of the fantasy names of everybody in the class. So I'm going to go through these and talk about people's fantasy names. And as I do that, I'm going to omit some people because, quite frankly, I didn't receive anything from you. And in a couple of cases, I have a fantasy name, but I didn't receive an assignment from you. So let's get started. These are the self-introduction evaluations, and we'll start with Goddess. And Goddess, you have the wrong shot. I need a bust line to an inch or two above the head. That's it. Shoot straight in, not up, not down. Don't be looking down. Don't be looking up at the camera. Look straight in. All right? You need to work on flow. You need to get from one point to another smoothly, not point, 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 point. Smooth transitions to each point. You seem to be reading a lot of what you were talking about. It was a very abrupt ending, and don't be doing the thing with your hair and brushing it back. And I have no paperwork from you. Next up is Habisha, and I have no papers. I couldn't open your speech. I went nuts trying to figure out how to get it. You've got to learn how to post those speeches to the right spot at the right time. Watch the words on your shirts, folks. When you're wearing a shirt that has words on it, number one, I'll read the words on the shirt, and then I'm not paying any attention to you. That's what your audience will do, too. Put the camera, Habisha, on a tripod so it's not moving around and bouncing while you're talking. Even little bounces are very distracting. You stand still. A lot of you are doing this, not just Habisha, but a lot of you are doing these kinds of moves all the time you're talking. Overall, you had okay audio, and this was an okay presentation. Watch the vocalized pauses, and also you had an extremely abrupt ending. It just stop. So you got to fix that. Next up is Twyla. You have too much room noise. You have the wrong shot composition, this shot that I talked to you about. You have a good flow. You get nicely from point to point, and I received no paperwork from you, and slow down. Slow down. The idea is not to see how fast you can get from point to point. Next up is Apple. Stand still. Don't be moving around. Finish strong. Don't, start strong, have a nice middle, and then finish strong. Don't just die at the end of your speech. And watch what you do with your hands. Sometimes it gets very distracting when we're trying to figure out what are you doing with your hands. Next up, I have no fantasy name and I have no submission, so I can't tell you who you are and who I didn't get a submission from, but when you look on the grade list and you have a 0 there, you should get a clue. Next up is I received no fantasy name, and this person has the wrong composition. They're shooting into a light because they're shooting up. Don't do that. You're looking down. Shooting up and looking down, that means you're looking at the camera, but the camera is shooting into a light, and that does funny things to the iris of your camera. Look at the camera. You had an abrupt ending. You need to work on flow, and you have a video flare in your picture. You need to just look. Hey, look at this stuff before you send it to me. Look at it. Listen to it. If it doesn't sound good, do it again. You didn't have an audience for the most part on these speeches, so doing it again isn't going to take that much longer. Next up, I have no fantasy name, and so I don't know what to tell you. The top of your head was cut off. The flow was disrupted. Your eye contact needs work. And you had a distracting sweatshirt on with words that I was trying to read, and it was very busy. All right, next up is Whistle. Whistle, your speaking notes have the wrong format. Check your format. You have the wrong shot. You're shooting up. You're not centered in the shot either. You want to be centered in the shot. Inch or two above the head, bust line, and centered, not way over here or not way over here, centered in the shot. And also, you're hard to understand at times. That may mean you need to slow down a little bit and watch the tisk sound when you talk. Some people